to complete in half an hour. But anyway, as Partharthi has requested, I'd like to just say a few words. So thanks for giving the permission. His Grace Gauranga Darshan Das Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He's a spiritual author and teacher. He is a Dean of Bhakti Vedant Vidyapit at ISKCON Govardhan Eco Village, known as GEV. He is a member of ISKCON Board of Examinations, ISKCON India Scholar Board, and the GEV Administrative Council. Gauranga Darshan Das Prabhu holds a master's degree in System Science and Automation from the reputed Indian Institute of Science, IIS, Bangalore. Having realized the importance of spiritual practices and with a desire to serve the Lord and the humanity, he took up the order of monkhood in 2009. As an author, Gauranga Das Prabhu authored over 20 books, including the Subodhini series of systematic study guides of timeless scripts, Prava series of storybooks, self-enchantment books like Bhagavad Vivek and Disapproved but Not Disowned, and children books like illustrated Bhagavatam tales that were sold over 100,000 copies. As a teacher, Gauranga Das Prabhu is a prolific speaker of the scriptures, having deeply imbibed the imports of the scholar commentaries of various acharyas of the Gaudiya Vaishnava traditions. He teaches Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vaishnava character, and several other spiritual classes. Let us all please welcome His Grace Gauranga Das Prabhu to our Partharthi Foundation. Once again, thank you. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. My humble respects to all the devotees and the coordinators of Partharthi Foundation. And today we will be discussing on one beautiful pastime from the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, that is the liberation of Trinavata, as chosen by the coordinators. So Sukadeva Goswami started narrating Krishna's childhood Leelas in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, and Krishna shifted to Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan Krishna started performing his enchanting pastimes right from his birth. After Nanda Maharaj celebrated Nandotsav, the appearance day of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj went to pay taxes to our Kamsa, King Kamsa. Then Putana came. Krishna was not even 10 days old. He was less than 10 days old. So hardly few days old boy, and this Rakshasi came to kill Krishna with her poisonous milk, and Krishna effortlessly killed Putana. And after that, Sukadeva Goswami, who was narrating this beautiful pastime, he simply said that whoever hears this pastime of Krishna killing Putana will attain love for the Lord. Govinde labhate ratim. So rati means affection, love for the Lord is obtained by hearing this pastime. So after hearing that, our Parikshit Maharaj thought, oh, why Sukadeva Goswami is giving this Falashruti now at this moment? So will he conclude Krishna's childhood pastimes? So where uh, Parikshit Maharaj, he became very eager to hear Krishna's pastimes, and he said this shloka. Yena yena avatarena bhagavan haririshvaraha करोति कर्णरम्याणि मनोज्ञानि च नः प्रभो यच्छृण्वतोपैत्यरतेर्वितृष्ण सत्त्वं च शुद्ध्यत्यचिरेण पुंसः भक्तिर्हरौ तत्पुरुषे च सख्यं तदेव हारं वद मन्यसे चेत्. So Parikshit Maharaj says that, my dear Sukadeva Goswami, I want you to describe Krishna's childhood pastimes in greater detail. Other pastimes also, not just Putana pastime. Okay. By Yena Yena Avatarena Bhagavan Haririshwaraha. In various avatars, that Bhagavan, that Hari, that Ishvara performs so many beautiful pastimes. Karoti Karnaramyani. First quality of those pastimes is Karnaramyani. They are very pleasing to the ears, especially Krishna's childhood pastimes. Second, Manognani Chanah Prabhu. They are very pleasing to the heart also. Third, Shrinvato apaiti aratir vitrishna. Okay, by hearing Krishna's childhood pastimes, apaiti arati. Arati means not having any attraction towards hearing. So, but if you hear childhood pastimes of Krishna, that attraction for hearing will be invoked. Apaiti aratir. Apaiti vitrishna. Okay, Trishna means the deep hankering for hearing. Although somebody may be hear Harikatha, but one may not be able to completely absorb oneself in the process of Shravana. Okay, one may hear, but one may not experience that absorption. So that makes it, what to say, not so palatable, not so pleasurable while hearing. Okay, so that's why he says that if you hear Krishna's childhood pastimes, you will hanker to hear more and more. Okay, first you will develop interest to hear Harikatha. Second, you will enjoy and relish the process of Shravanam, not just hearing it dutifully. That's the effect of hearing Krishna's childhood pastimes. Then fifth effect is Sattvam cha shuddhyati achirena pumsaha. One's heart is completely purified. Bhaktir harau. Sixth effect is we will develop bhakti, affection, love for Krishna. Tat purusheti sakhyam. Seventh effect is to develop friendship for other devotees. So please hear, please speak Krishna's childhood pastimes. Basically, in these two shlokas, Parikshit Maharaj is expressing his intense eagerness to hear the childhood pastimes of Krishna. Athanyadapi Krishnasya toka charitam manusham lokamasadya tajjati manurundhatah. Athanyadapi Krishnasya toka charitam adbhutam. All the pastimes of Krishna is certainly wonderful. However, the childhood pastimes of Krishna, toka charitam, they are even more wonderful. Adbhutam. Why? Manusham lokamasadya. He appeared in this earthly planet. Tajjati manurundhata. He imitated the behavior of human children and is performing so many activities. Whether it is catching the tail of a calf and being dragged in the dust of Vrindavan, or whether it is stealing butter from the gopis' houses and getting rebuked by them, or they coming and giving complaints to Mother Yashoda, whatever it may be, Krishna is absorbed in his Balya Leela. So all these pastimes are very enchanting. So in this way, Parikshit Maharaj is expressing his intense eagerness to hear about Krishna's pastimes. He just heard Putana pastime. Sukam va dayalum sharanam vrajema. Who else can be more merciful than that Supreme Lord who delivered Putana? He gave Putana the position of a motherly nurse in the spiritual world. Okay. Although she has come to kill him with her poisonous milk. So when Krishna killed Putana, he showed the power of his lips. And when Krishna killed Shakatasur, he showed the power of his feet, tender feet, as a 3-month-old baby. And when Krishna killed Trinavarta, he showed the power of his hands. Okay, we will discuss Trinavarta pastime in greater detail now. And when Krishna showed universe within his mouth to Mother Yashoda, he showed all his powers. Right? So although Krishna is playing the part of a small child in Vrindavan, Krishna is certainly the Supreme Lord and all powers are there within him, even as a small child. So don't underestimate Krishna's powers by seeing Krishna's childhood form. He may look very small and innocent baby or a small toddler. Still, he is the abode of all rasas and all powers. Okay, so that we have seen. So now after Nandotsav, there is this beautiful ceremony called Utthana ceremony. I think we will not discuss this Utthana ceremony in great detail now. Let's get into the Trinavarta episode now. Although the Utthana ceremony and killing of Shakatasur are also described in the 7th chapter of 10th canto, we will focus more on the Trinavarta episode. One day, Mother Yashoda kept Krishna in her lap, and as it is natural for mothers to take care of their babies, and then sometimes they would just throw the babies into the air and then catch them back just to make them laugh. So Mother Yashoda was doing all this for Krishna. Okay. So Mother Yashoda was patting Krishna by keeping him on her lap. Krishna was hardly 1 year old at that time. Right. So Mother Yashoda was just throwing Krishna into the air and then catching him, hardly 50 feet above the ground level. So Krishna thought that I must go higher. Mother Yashoda is throwing me into the air only up to some point. So, but I want to go higher and higher. So, as Krishna desired like that, a demon named Shakatasur came there. Utkacha. Trinavarta came there. Okay. So, here Krishna is the enjoyer of all pastimes, all kinds of pastimes, whether it is killing a demon or being caressed by Mother Yashoda or playing with the gopas or dancing with the gopis, whatever it may be, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So, Mother Yashoda was keeping Krishna in her lap and then nicely patting him, and suddenly she experienced that Krishna's weight has increased. Okay. Ekadarohamarudham lalayanti sutam sati garimanam shishorvodham nasehe girikotavat. So, ekada aroham arudham. One day, Mother Yashoda was holding Krishna in her lap. Lalayanti, she is doing lalan. Sutam sati. Sati means a chaste woman. Okay. Garimanam shishorvodham. Suddenly, Krishna increased his weight. How? He became as heavy as a mountain peak. Okay. Nasehe girikotavat. So, Mother Yashoda could not bear that weight. Giri is mountain, Kuta means peak. Can you just imagine how heavy is the peak of a mountain? Take Himalaya mountain and take its peak. Only Hanumanji can lift that mountain peak. Hanumanji could easily lift the mountain peak when he was getting that Sanjeevani herb for reviving Ram and Lakshman from their unconscious state in the war, Lanka war. So, we see that Krishna has become as heavy as a mountain peak within the lap of Mother Yashoda. Yashoda could not bear that weight. So what will she do? Naturally, she kept Krishna on the ground. She could not even keep Krishna on the cart because she could not lift him. And she also felt doubtful that if I keep him on the cart will break. She could really experience that heavy weight of Krishna, because Krishna uh, is Yogeshwara. He has all kinds of siddhis. So there are Anima, Lahima, Anima, Laghima, Mahima, Prapti, Ishitva. There are so many siddhis, right? So Krishna is the real storehouse of all these siddhis. Now there is this one siddhi where one person becomes greater than the greatest, smaller than the smallest, heavier than the heaviest, right? So all that Krishna can do. And Krishna can, there is another siddhi where a person just brings some person or something which is so far, just effortlessly here. Okay. So after Krishna killed Arishtasur, all the gopis came to Krishna and said, "Hey, you have become sinful by killing a bull demon." Bull, actually, not demon. They said it's bull, but Krishna said, "No, it's not bull, it's the demon in the form of bull." But the gopis said, "You have become sinful, you have to take bath in all the rivers." So Krishna, of course, he's not sinful, but he accepted the blame of the gopis and he agreed to take bath in all holy rivers. But he did not travel to all the holy rivers. He just invoked the presence of all the holy rivers at one place. And all the presiding deities of holy rivers came and filled his shampoo and then took bath. Okay. So Krishna can do anything. Now Krishna, so far, he was as light as a flower, as light as a feather. How heavy is a 1-year-old baby? So does it take so much effort for anyone to lift a 1-year-old baby? Even a 5-year-old child also can lift 1-year-old baby effortlessly and then keep him on the lap. But 1-year-old Krishna has become as heavy as a mountain peak. But why did he do so? So point is, Krishna desired to go higher and higher. As we discussed some time back, Krishna's desire was to go high into the sky. He was thinking, Mother Yashoda is only throwing me to the sky only up to some point and we want to go higher and higher. Why he wants to go higher? One thing, he wants to enjoy. Secondly, he also wanted to give his darshan to the people in the heavenly planets, right? So that's why he also wanted to go higher. Thirdly, he also wanted to deliver Trinavata and other things. So because Krishna desired to go high into the sky, at that time, this Trinavata came there. Trinavarta is an associate of Kamsa. So Kamsa's style is, he would fight with some demons, he would defeat those demons, and he will not kill them. He will make them his servants. Okay, I have defeated you, but you are my servant now. So like that, our Kamsa had so many demonic associates and he would keep sending them to search for Krishna and kill Krishna. And in this way, Trinavarta also came there to kill Krishna. So, but although Trinavarta came to kill Krishna, Krishna utilized Trinavarta to go high into the sky. Okay, Trinavata airlines came there, and Trinavarta came in the form of a whirlwind. So why Krishna has become heavy now in the lap of Mother Yashoda? There is a connection. Krishna knows that Trinavata is going to come to me very soon, and he will lift me up. And I don't want Mother Yashoda to suffer. I don't want Mother Yashoda to get troubled in any way. So when Trinavarta lifts me into the sky, so my mother should not have any difficulty because of the demon. So let me send her away. Let me alone go to Trinavarta. Let me send her away. So that's why Krishna became heavy, and Mother Yashoda kept Krishna on the ground, and she went into the house. She wanted to call some servants and then send them to bring brahmanas. So whenever Krishna exhibits some kind of unusual behavior, what does Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj do? They would call brahmanas, and they wanted the brahmanas to chant some mantras for Krishna's protection. So that's the general trend in Vrindavan. So Mother Yashoda ran into the house to call some brahmanas, And all these things are happening in Nandamara's courtyard. Outside the house, Mother Yashoda kept Krishna on the ground. So now somehow by the Leela Shakti of the Lord, by the pastime potency of the Lord, Mother Yashoda went inside the house and she did not come back. She got absorbed in her household duties. All this happened for just few minutes only, not so much. Meanwhile, Trinavata demon came there in the form of a whirlwind. So initially it started with some wind, but actually it was a whirlwind that can create a big turmoil throughout Vrindavan. So Yashoda became very anxious. Bhumau nidhayatam gopi vismita bharapidita Mahapurushamadadhyo jagatam asakarmasu. See, Bhumau nidhayatam gopi. That gopi, here gopi refers to Yashoda Mata. So that Yashoda Mata kept Krishna on the ground. Bhumau nidhayaman, she placed him on the ground. Vismita, she was completely bewildered and surprised. Bhara pidita, she was also tormented by the bhara, by the heaviness of her child. Mahapurushamadadhyo, and she started praying to Lord Narayana. Jagatam asakarmasu, and she went inside, she offered a prayer. She wanted to call Brahmanas and she got caught up in the household duties. Jagatam asakarmasu. So then, at this moment, Krishna was heavier than the heaviest in Mother Yashoda's lap. When Trinavarta came there in the form of a whirlwind, Krishna became lighter than a blade of grass. Okay, so Krishna is the possessor of all kinds of Shaktis. So by Krishna's Aishwarya Shakti, the power of his opulence that facilitates all his pastimes, Krishna can sometimes become heavier than heaviest and sometimes lighter than the lightest. He can do anything. So as we hear that great souls are harder than thunderbolt and softer than rose. Okay, so similarly, Krishna also can become heavier than the heaviest for Mother Yashoda and lighter than the lightest for Trinavarta in this current pastime. But later, in all ordinary cases, Krishna is very light in Mother Yashoda's lap. And after some time, Krishna will become very heavy on Trinavarta's throat, right? So he can just keep changing gears, up to him. Okay, he can go in first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, whatever it may be. Those who are expert in driving, they understand. They keep changing gears according to the situation. Similarly, Krishna also keep changing his body weight according to the pastime. Okay, so this is Krishna's Aishwarya Shakti. So Trinavarta came there. Daityo namna Trinavartah Kamsabhrityah pranoditah Chakravatasvarupena Jaharasinamarбhakam. Daityo namna Trinavartah. So there is a Daitya, there is an Asura, demon named Trinavarta. Who is he? Kamsabhrityah, he is a servant of Kamsa. Okay. Chakravata Swarupena, he came in the form of a whirlwind. Chakravata, and Jaharasiyam Arbhakam, and he just came to the place where this Arbhaka means a small child, where this child Krishna was just sitting there, and then picked him up. So when wind comes, when heavy wind comes, naturally all the dust particles and old leaves, feathers, chocolate wrappers or whatever it may be, everything will flow into the air, right? Because they are so light. Krishna has become as light as a feather, so he also flew into the wind. So generally, when the wind comes, a person will not fly unless it is really fierce, right? A person at the max, the person's clothes may just fly, right? So some dust particles may go into the person's eyes, so, and then he will go inside the room and then hide himself to protect himself from the wind. But here Krishna is just openly sitting there in the courtyard. Interestingly, no one was around him, and he became as light as a feather, and whirlwind came there, and Krishna was raised in the whirlwind. Basically, what's happening there? Trinavarta is catching Krishna and then taking him to the sky. For what? To kill him. Because Trinavarta was a man-eating demon. So he is described as Purushada. Purushada means man-eating demon. So he has come there. And the effect of Trinavarta was not only on Krishna, it was in entire Gokul. It's a very powerful wind, right? Gokulam Srinvamavrinvan, Gokulam Sarvamavrinvan, Mushnam Chakshum Sirenubhihi, Irayan Sumahaghora, Shabdena Pradishodishaha. Gokulam Sarvam Avrinvan. So this Trinavarta has completely covered entire Gokul. So Trinavarta covered means nobody could actually see him in a two-handed or two-legged form. Everyone was seeing him in the form of a wind only. Okay. So Gokulam Sarvam Avrinvan, he has covered entire Gokul, this wind. Mushnams Chakshumshi Renubhi, and constantly he is throwing bits of dust particles, right? So dust particles are everywhere. Okay. So when fierce wind comes, so it's everywhere. The dust particles are everywhere. Mushnams Chakshumshi Renubhi, Irayan Sumaha Ghora. Not only dust is everywhere, even sound is also everywhere. When really wind blows so much, there is sound also, right? So you keep piercing your ears. There is dust particles, there is sound, and when dust is everywhere, you can't see anything. So everyone is blinded. Everyone's movement is also restricted. Shabdena Pradishodishaha. So Shabda is sound. So Trinavarta basically covered entire Gokul with his sound, with the wind, and with darkness, and with dust particles. So dust is everywhere. When there is a lot of smoke or a lot of dust, you can't actually see people around you. You can't even see yourself. So all the devotees of Vrindavan, the Vrajavasis, could not see anyone, could not hear anyone, could not communicate with anyone, and they could not even see themselves. So when something is happening, you call out another person, hey, please come here to help me. But your words are not reaching the ears of that other person because there is a lot of sound which is caused by the wind. Okay, so basically he has completely made entire Gokul helpless. All the Vrajavasis, the Gopas and the Gopis became completely covered by this dust and darkness and sound that they became helpless. Muhurtam abhavad goshtham rajasa tamasavritam sutam yashodana pashyat tasmin yastavati yataha. Muhurtam. How long did Trinavarta create such turmoil and disturbance in Vrindavan? Muhurtam. For one muhurta time. 48 minutes. Abhavad Goshtham. Goshtham is the entire cowhead village. So for one muhurta, he has completely covered entire Gokul with dense darkness. Rajasa tamasa avritam. What is this Rajasa and Tamasa and Avritam? Avrita means to cover. He covered entire Gokul with Rajas and Tamas. What is Rajas? Rajas means dust particles. Tamas means darkness. So dust particles and darkness are everywhere in Vrindavan. That's why they could not see Krishna. Mother Yashoda also could not see Krishna. Say this. Sutam Yashoda napashyet. Because of Rajas and Tamas, she could not, Yashoda Mata could not see Krishna. Right? Tasmin yastavati yataha. She became completely overwhelmed and emotional. So Rajasa Tamasavritam means Gokul is covered with dust and darkness. But Rajasa Tamasavritam can also mean Rajoguna and Tamoguna, the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. When our mind is covered with mode of ignorance and mode of passion, we can't see Krishna. Just as Gokul was covered with Rajas and Tamas, dust and darkness, they could not see Krishna. Similarly, when a devotee's mind is covered with mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance, one cannot see Krishna, one cannot perceive Krishna. So, in our practice of Bhakti Yoga, we should also try not to get overwhelmed by the lower modes. Okay, so yes, even mode of goodness also is a covering on the soul. It is also conditioning the soul to this material world. So uh, we should not be influenced by mode of goodness also. But in the beginning stages of our spiritual life, we should put endeavor to come out of the lower modes like Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna and come to Sattva Guna. And from the platform of Sattva Guna, we transcend the material modes. Right? So Sattva Guna itself, to be in Sattva Guna itself is not to be in Bhakti. Sattva Guna is not spiritual, it is also material. It is also a material mode of nature. Yet, that is a platform from which spiritual practices can be done in a effective way, right? So we ultimately have to transcend that material mode of goodness also. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvastho Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. So we need to transcend all the three modes. But to begin with, let's transcend Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Because when Rajoguna and Tamoguna are there, we cannot see Krishna. We cannot perceive Krishna at all. Rajasa Tamasavritam. So, Mother Yashoda could not see her son. And all the Vrajavasis also could not see her son. Suddenly there is a big hurricane, there is a big whirlpool, there is so much wind. So Yashoda fell like a cow that has lost her calf. She was lamenting pitifully. So a mother's love for her child is often compared to cow's love for her calf. Because amongst all the living beings, cow's affection for her child is considered very intense, right? Yes, in all species, mothers have love and affection for their children, but cow is special. Okay, so that's why the word Vatsalya or the rasa of Vatsalya is named after this Vatsa. Vatsa means calf. Okay, Vatsalya means affection that a cow has for calf. So when you say Vatsalya rasa, that is motherly affection that one can have for Krishna amongst the five rasas. So Mother Yashoda also fell. She fainted. She became unconscious after not finding her son. So for one muhurta, all these people could not communicate with each other. For example, like searching for something, you lost your book. Okay, you just misplaced it somewhere. You are searching everywhere in the night. Suddenly there is a power cut. It was Amavasya. You are unable to see anything. So when you are trying to search for an object, and at least lights are on, your eyes are working, and you're able to see, okay, if the book is not there in this corner, it's there in that corner, you can search somewhere. But your ability to search, your vision is taken away, right? You are blinded, there is power cut. So it's so frustrating, isn't it? So, and okay, you are unable to see anything. Can you seek help from someone? You say, you may call your friend, please come and help me in searching this book. Right? Get a torchlight, get a candle, get a lamp. You are unable to communicate also. Your voice is taken away. Or the situation has been created in such a way that what you are speaking is not reaching the ears of other person. Such a frustrating experience. All the Vrajavasis are in complete helpless situation for this one muhurta. Just remember this. Krishna remembered how Trinavarta has made his Vrajavasis completely helpless. Okay. Just as Trinavarta made Vrajavasis helpless, Krishna will also make Trinavarta helpless. If we give some trouble to devotees, Krishna will ensure that we will receive that similar type of trouble, probably in a different flavor. So Krishna will notice all the troubles given by people to his devotees. Okay. So all the Vrajavasis were trying to search for Krishna, but they could not find Krishna anywhere. They were in intense anxiety, and all the gopis started lamenting. So here Mother Yashoda was lamenting, and other gopis surrounded Mother Yashoda. After a while, after a muhurta, all the dust got settled, and people are able to see each other, people are able to talk to each other, people are able to see themselves, but they could not find Krishna. Yashoda was sitting there lamenting, Mother Rohini is trying to console her, and all the other motherly gopis, elderly gopis of Vrindavan surrounded Mother Yashoda and started pacifying Mother Yashoda, but they could not do so. One is Mother Yashoda is not getting pacified. Second is all these elderly gopis of Vrindavan also had similar amount of motherly affection for Krishna. If they themselves are in pain, if they themselves are crying so much, how can they console someone else? So one person is crying, another person whose emotions are not that high can console. But here the other gopis are also equally disturbed and affected by Krishna's absence. So they could not effectively console Mother Yashoda. All of them sat together and started lamenting. They are almost having equal amount of pain. Of course, Mother Yashoda is in a higher platform in Vatsalya Rasa, but others also are almost there. So then, this is the situation in Gokul, on the ground. So what's happening in the sky? Trinavarta took baby Krishna, 1-year-old Krishna, high into the sky, 800,000 miles high into the sky. Trinavartaha Shantarayo Vatya Rupadharo Haran Krishnam na bhogato gantum Nashaknod Bhuri Bharabhrit. So Krishna went so high into the sky. Trinavarta took him very high into the sky, and Krishna enjoyed the ride on Trinavarta airplanes. Okay, Krishna wanted to fly high, and somehow by the arrangement of his Lila Shakti, the past name potency, Trinavarta happened to come there, and he took Krishna high into the sky, and Krishna enjoyed the ride. And after Muhurta, Krishna realized, my God, my parents are crying, my mother Yashoda is crying, and all the other motherly gopis are also in separation from me. So after remembering the motherly gopis of Vrindavan, after realizing that they are missing him, Krishna started missing them. Okay, Krishna wanted to go back. Can you imagine? Sometimes children, they may go with some neighbors. Okay, maybe till the outskirts of the house, right? They'll just go outside the house with the neighbors, and after a few moments they'll just run back to the mother, run back to the father, because the most comfortable situation for a child is the lap of mother, the protection of parents. So they may just go out little bit for a few minutes, but they can't stay away for such a long time. So here is Krishna, 1-year-old baby Krishna. He came out of Mother Yashoda's lap for one muhurta, just to enjoy the ride. But now he started missing Mother Yashoda. He is unable to bear separation from Mother Yashoda. On top of it, he realized that Yashoda was also in separation. Okay, so Trinavarta thought that, okay, now I got this boy so away, far away, 800,000 miles away from his home, so I can eat him. So he was a man-eating demon, right? He wanted to eat. So by this time, Krishna enjoyed his ride, and he gave his darshan to people in the upper planets also. So Krishna started missing Vrindavan. So as it is natural for infant babies to hold on to something very tightly, okay, with their tender grip when they're afraid, Krishna also started holding on to Trinavarta's neck, okay, with his tender grip, 1-year-old baby fingers. So when you lift a child up, sometimes the child may enjoy, but sometimes the child may become fearful and they hold on to you very tightly. So like that, imitating the behavior of an ordinary child, 1-year-old baby, Krishna became fearful, and in fear he held on to Trinavarta's neck tightly. Okay, so Krishna, although he is exhibiting his superhuman activities, and although he is God endowed with all powers, and although he is killing the demons, He's not compromising on his sweetness as a small baby. That's the speciality of Vrindavan pastimes. Krishna killed so many demons without invoking his Sudarshan Chakra, without invoking his Kaumodaki Gada, without getting his Sanga bow or sword and shield. He has hundreds of weapons. But Krishna doesn't use any weapon. Krishna uses his hands only to kill the demons. That too, it's not that he's just fighting with them. Krishna is using his hands in a very playful manner. When Putana came, Krishna uses his lips. Just as it is natural for infant babies to drink milk, he was drinking milk from Putana and then he died. And as it is natural for a small 3-month-old baby to just throw his hands and legs into the air, Krishna threw his legs into the air and that tender foot of Krishna touched the cart and Shakadasura died. Okay. And Krishna was just holding on to the neck of Trinavata, Trinavata died. And later Krishna was just wanting to get some kapita fruits from the kapita tree. And meanwhile, this Vatsasura demon came there. So Krishna just took that Vatsasura demon and then twirled him around like this and then threw him on the tree. Okay, and all the fruits just fell down. So, with his bare hands, just as a part of his play, childhood play, Krishna killed all the demons without using any weapons. So, Krishna is exhibiting his superhuman activities and even godhood in Vrindavan in killing the demons, but he was not at all compromising his childhood sweetness. That's the speciality of Vrindavan pastimes. Okay, so Trinavarta could experience now that Krishna has become heavier than a mountain peak. Trinavartaha Shantarayo, after going 800,000 miles high into the sky very fast, he became very mild. He could not proceed further. Vatya Rupa Dharoharan, someone who has taken the form of a wind demon. Krishnam Nabho Gato Hantum, after taking Krishna into the sky, Na Sheknod Bhuri Bharavat, he could not tolerate the heaviness, the weight of Krishna. Okay, Bhuri Bharavat, he was so heavy. So how heavy is a 1-year-old child? But Krishna was heavy like a mountain peak. Earlier he was heavy in Mother Yashoda's lap because he wanted Yashoda to keep him on the ground and go inside the house. Now he is heavy on Trinavarta's neck because he wanted Trinavarta to take him back to Gokul. Okay, so he became very heavy. Now you see this. Gale Grihita Utsrishtum Nashagnot Adbhuta Arbhakam. Adbhuta Arbhakam. This little child is Adbhuta, very wonderful. Nashaknot, I am unable to tolerate his heaviness. So Gale Grihita. Krishna just caught the neck of Trinavarta like this, as if he was a fearful child. He was just completely catching the neck of Trinavarta and he was completely choked up. When a 1-year-old child just catches your neck like this, you will get choked up, you will get strangled, you will die. But Trinavata died. He was just holding, just with the grip of Krishna. Trinavarta's eyes popped out of their sockets. Okay, and he became completely lifeless. And one thing is, when Krishna was holding on to his neck, Krishna became heavy. So when you are lifting something heavy, okay, if it's too heavy, you will drop it down, isn't it? Then you will find some relief. But here is some super heavy weight, the weight of a mountain peak, hanging around Trinavarta, and he is unable to throw also. So he tried to throw Krishna. Oh, I cannot bear your weight, just get away from me, get away from me. He wanted to throw Krishna away, but he could not because Krishna was holding on to him tightly. So just like all the Vrajavasis were trying to search for Krishna and their ability to search was taken away, similarly, Trinavarta wanted to throw Krishna away and his ability to throw away Krishna was taken away. Means he could not throw Krishna. He is supposed to experience that weight of Krishna without throwing. Okay, fine. So you are lifting some weight and experiencing that pain, and you are unable to drop that weight. You are feeling that pain. So when you are in pain, you scream out, right? You scream out loudly. But the ability to scream out loudly was also taken away. from Trinavarta. Why? Because Krishna is holding out his neck and his throat got completely choked up, no voice was coming out. Eyes were popping out of their sockets, but voice was not coming out of his mouth. So he could not throw Krishna away, he could not scream out in pain. Just like Vrajavasis could not search Krishna and could not see anything. So like that, Krishna also made Trinavarta helpless. Just like Trinavarta made devotees helpless. So Krishna will give the necessary reaction to those people who trouble devotees. Okay. Especially demons, and especially those people who do it intentionally. Okay. By mistake, if something happens, Krishna may forgive, Krishna may excuse. But if someone intentionally wants to cause pain to devotees, Krishna will ensure that they will also receive that pain. So Trinavarta could not handle it. So from there, Trinavarta Airlines collapsed. So Krishna, by this time, Krishna's desires got fulfilled, and Trinavarta just fell down to the ground. So what is the possibility that a flight that has taken off from, say, Mumbai airport, say if it gets crashed, fortunately it should not happen, but if it gets crashed, what is the possibility that that flight will land up again in the airport only, at the same gate from where it took off? Very less possibility, right? Now here Trinavarta airplane went 800,000 miles high into the sky, and it again fell on earth only, in Bharatavarsha only, in Vrindavan village only. That too where? Vrindavan is like very big, not very big, but it's a big land. Okay, but Trinavarta fell right next to the lamenting gopis. All the motherly gopis of Vrindavan, Yashoda, Rohini and other Vatsalya gopis, they were sitting at one place and then lamenting in separation from Krishna, right? So Krishna thought that I must immediately go and console the Vrajavasis. And amongst the Vrajavasis, who is in maximum pain? The mothers. I must first console them. So Krishna made Trinavarta Airlines crash right next to Mother Yashoda and all the other mothers. And that too, when Trinavarta falls down, he could fall on any cow or calf or gopa or gopi or a goshala or a building. No, nothing happened. There is somehow, by the arrangement of Leela Shakti, there was a big boulder, big stone slab right next to the gopis who were lamenting. Trinavarta fell on that stone slab only, not causing any damage to any property in Vrindavan, not crushing anyone. When the airplane crashes down suddenly, many people may fall under it, okay, but nothing like that happened. And all the limbs of Trinavarta's body got dislocated except one limb. Right? The chest is a very broad chest, which is like a playground for Krishna. 1 year old infant Krishna is just playing on the chest of Trinavarta. So that is intact. All the hands and legs and the head, everything got dislocated. Okay. Galagrahana nischeshto daityo nirgatalochanaha avyaktaravo nyapatat sahabalo vyasurvraje. Just one shloka summarizes whatever we discussed. Galagrahana nischeshto. Because Krishna was holding on to the neck of Trinavarta. Nischeshto. Trinavarta became completely motionless. Daityo nirgatalochanaha. His eyes popped out of their sockets. Avyakta Ravo, he could not make any sound. Nyapatat, he fell down. Sahabalo, along with the child. Vyasur Braje, right in the Vrindavan. So now, next point. Trinavata fell down there. All the gopis saw a big thing came from the sky and then fell right next to them. So that's a demon's body. So demon fell there, and on top of the demon they saw Krishna. So naturally, although Krishna is there, the gopis must become fearful, right? So they see a big demon's body and they are not fully sure whether this fellow is just living or he died. No one knows that. So the gopis had absolutely no fear or hesitation. All that they had within their minds and hearts is love for Krishna, separation from Krishna. Because they were in intense feelings of separation from Krishna, and they saw Krishna now, they ran to Trinavarta's dead body and picked up Krishna from there, as you are seeing in this picture. Otherwise, just imagine you have your diamond or your new iPhone, you love it so much, and it fell somewhere, and you're searching for it everywhere, and suddenly you found it, your iPhone next to a snake, cobra. Will you go and pick it up? You'll have some kind of hesitation, right? Oh, although my phone is there, I can't just enthusiastically and eagerly go and pick it up because the snake might bite me. But in comparison to the eagerness of all the gopis to get Krishna back in their laps, their fear of Trinavarta was insignificant. And they had absolutely no fear only. That was not there in their minds only. They immediately picked up, they immediately went to Trinavarta's dead body and picked up Krishna without any fear. Of course, Trinavarta died by that time, and even if he was alive, he could not do anything to the gopis by Krishna's Lila Shakti. But you can notice the intensity of gopis' love. So, next, very interesting thing happened. Who picked Krishna up? The other gopis. Because Mother Yashoda was too shocked to even move from there. Okay. So other gopis went and immediately picked up Krishna and then brought to Mother Yashoda. And they came to Mother Yashoda and became angry with her. You know what they said? Yashoda, you have no right to touch the child. And Yashoda was completely bewildered. Hey, my child has come back. I have no right to touch him. Right? She could not even speak out anything. She was completely bewildered. And the gopis were very angry with Mother Yashoda. They said, you have no right to touch the child. Why? Because why did you leave the child unattended in the courtyard like that? When such a fierce wind is coming, as a mother, is it not your responsibility to keep the child inside the room and protect him? Why did you leave him unattended? So they were very upset with Mother Yashoda. Then Yashoda Mata innocently said, no, this boy, my child, has become very heavy. I could not bear his weight. He was as heavy as a mountain peak. So I kept him down and went inside the house to call for some brahmanas, and meanwhile this has happened. I didn't know. She innocently expressed the fact. Then the gopi said, don't lie, Yashoda. Your child is as light as a flower. See, we are holding him. So they were holding Krishna. He is as light as a feather. How can you say that he has become heavy like a mountain peak? And Yashoda Mata did not have any answer for it. Okay, she had absolutely no answer because she was completely shocked and she could not understand why all these things are happening. Then after a while, of course, the gopis gave Krishna back to Mother Yashoda, although they were just holding on to him. And Yashoda did not feel offended. Yashoda Mata is the queen of Vrindavan. Other gopis, in one sense, they are like citizens of Vrindavan. So how can citizens chastise, scold the queen? But she was not offended by that because she was completely in love with Krishna, and she knows that the other gopis also loved Krishna like her, and out of their love for Krishna they can even scold Mother Yashoda. Because all these motherly gopis of Vrindavan, they spend more time in Mother Yashoda's house than in their own house. They would constantly be in Nandamara's house and assist Mother Yashoda in serving Krishna. Okay, so when they, out of their intense love for Krishna, motherly affection for Krishna, when they say a few words to Mother Yashoda, also she wouldn't mind, right? So it's not a question of ego or prestige, it's a question of love. So in Vrindavan, there is no question of ego, false ego, prestige, inferiority complex, superiority complex. No, everybody is absorbed in love for Krishna in their particular mood, particular rasa. Okay. So Mother Yashoda was bewildered and she took Krishna back and she told Rohini, my God, my child is like a blue sapphire and looks like some Nagakanyas wanted to steal him and then put on their heads. Okay. And my son is like a very beautiful flower, looks like some Gandharva Kanyas wanted to steal him and put in their braids. So my son is like this and like that. Ananda Vrindavan Champu says different comparisons that Mother Yashoda did between Krishna and some beautiful objects, and then she is comparing all the demons with some other personalities who wanted to steal her property. So if at all there is any land of fearlessness, I will go and stay there. I don't have so many children. After such a long time, at an advanced age, the Supreme Lord has given me one little child, Krishna, and so many calamities are coming to that child only. Mother Yashoda was in intense grief, in tears. Then some Brahmanas came there. Nanda Maharaj also came there to console Mother Yashoda. So some Brahmanas came and said, Yashoda Mata, don't worry. Nanda Maharaj, don't worry. We will chant mantras for Krishna's protection. Right? So Brahmana's role in Vrindavan is just to chant mantras for Krishna's protection, not realizing that Krishna is protecting all of them. So this is about Trinavarta pastime. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hey Krishna, koti dhanavad pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful, blissful class, especially the flight taking off and landing right at the same point at Vrindavan. That was a very good example, Prabhu. But again, thank you so much for showering all the blessings and everything. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. We'll meet another time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a very, very nectarian class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, do you have a time to take the question answer session?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So I request to everyone, if you have any question, any realization, or any anumodan, so please just raise your hands and feel free to ask to Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Some devotees really like your presentation, Prabhuji. They send a message in our chat box. They really like for your presentation, how you present and make the PPT slides. It's really very nice, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
If anybody have any question, just raise your hands and or any realization, please share to Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Okay, this pastime is very simple and straightforward. There's no question here. Okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I also think it means it's clear to everybody, so they have nothing.
So, Mataji, I had something to say. I don't know if everybody, but I'd like to say something, especially about Govardhan Eco Village. I don't know if everybody from Parthati Foundation has been to Govardhan Eco Village or no. You know, Mataji, like.
Prabhuji, I have no idea regarding that. Prabhuji.
So I just want every devotee to just, my personal experience that I went to Govardhan Eco Village several years back before COVID, and it's unbelievable, the way the management and everything, it's a teamwork, especially the organic vegetables and everything they're growing. So I think I recommend highly, if everybody's going to India, please put Govardhan Eco Village on their bucket list and wish list, just like Vrindavan and everything. So I highly pray everybody please go. There's a lot to learn, and Gauranga Darshan Prabhu's there, Gauranga Prabhu's there, everybody. So please take Darshan and try your best to go. Thank you so much. That's all I'd like to share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, if you allow, can we wind up our call here? Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Vancha kaltaru vasha kapa sindhu bhai vacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vaishnavrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhuji ki jai. Hari Hari Bol. Prabhuji, in the end, where Prabhuji left. Thank you so much, Rai Prabhuji, for a very wonderful seva. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Mata.